Good morning, class 11th. Welcome you all in your biology class. Now, today we will start with the new unit, that is Unit 3. And the name of the unit is Cell Structure and Functions. Before starting the unit, I must tell you that this unit is very important for your exam purpose, as well as this unit will move along with you in your higher classes also. आप कोई भी higher classes में जाओगे, either being a medical student, being a biology student, this unit is very important, okay, as it will be used in when you have joined some medical courses or in simple BSc also. This unit will help you. So I hope that you all will understand the concept of this unit thoroughly, okay. And in case you will have any doubt, then we will discuss in the Zoom session. So let's begin with the first chapter of this unit, that is Cell, the unit of life. We all know that biology, it is the science or it is the study of the living organism. So if I talk about the living organism, the basic fundamental unit by which the complete body of living organism is made up of, it is called as the cell. If we compare the living and non-living things, the smallest unit of the living being is cell. On the other hand, the smallest fundamental unit of the non-living thing is atom. Like in non-living things, atoms, they combine to form molecules, and then molecules, they combine to form the matter. In the same way, when we are studying about the living organisms, the first unit by which the complete body is formed, that unit is cell, okay. Then we know that in our lower classes we have studied that cells, they group together to form the tissues. Likewise, tissues, they combine to form the organs. Organs, they combine to form the organ systems. And different organ systems, they combine to form the individual or the living organism. So cell is very important part, okay. Cell, we can compare the cell with the brick of the house. When we laid the foundation of the house, the first thing we keep as the foundation is the brick. Then after joining the brick, the wall is prepared. Then by joining the different walls, the room is prepared. By joining the different rooms, by making the different room, a house is created. In the same way, the simplest unit of the living organism, that is cell, it combines and combines in the different forms to form a complex living organism, complex structure of living organism. So let us have the view of the structure of the cell. What is cell? The discoveries related to the cell, cell theory, and the organisms based on the cells, how they are differentiated, okay, and in detail the structure of the cell of prokaryotic as well as eukaryotic. So let's begin with the discovery of the cell. The first cell, in your lower classes you have already studied about that the first cell was discovered by the Robert Hooke. Robert Hooke, he discovered the first cell, that was the dead cell, and the name of the cell is the cock cell, okay. उसने प्लांट सेल की आउटर कवरिंग को जब माइक्रोस्कोप के अंदर, वो माइक्रोस्कोप उसने खुद बनाया था, हैंडमेड माइक्रोस्कोप के नीचे जब उसने उसको ऑब्जर्व किया तो उसने देखा कि उसको छोटे छोटे कंपार्टमेंट्स, छोटे छोटे रूम लाइक स्ट्रक्चर नज़र आए, एंड दैट्स वाई ही नेम्ड दैट स्ट्रक्चर एज cell. Now the question arises, that cell was the dead cell. Who had discovered the first living cell? So here we should know that who had discovered the first living cell? Anton von Leeuwenhoek. He is the scientist who discovered the first living cell, and the first living cell was the algae named as Spirogyra. Okay, so now to recap that, the first living cell was discovered by Anton von Leeuwenhoek, and the first dead cell was represented by the Robert Hooke. Okay, now the other parts like nucleus is the important part of the cell. It is the controlling unit of the cell. It was discovered by the Robert Brown. Next is protoplasm. Protoplasm, it is also called as the living fluid of the cell. Okay, so protoplasm include two things, cytoplasm plus nucleus. The combination of cytoplasm and nucleus is termed as protoplasm. So this protoplasm, it was named by J.E. Purkinje. Clear? Now, based on the cell's number, the organisms, they are divided into two parts, unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms. The organisms which are made up of only single cell, it is called as unicellular. And the animals on other hand, which या फिर the organisms on other hand which are made up of many cells, they are called as multicellular. We can add the example over here. Amoeba is one of the unicellular organism. Multicellular में we can take the example of plants, we can take the example of animals also. Okay, so this was the basic introduction to the cell. Now let's move on to the next topic, that is cell theory. Now cell theory, it was formulated by the two scientists named as Matthias Schleiden and Theodor Schwann. Schleiden, he was a botanist and Schwann, he was a zoologist. Okay, सो जो श्लीडन था वो प्लांट्स को स्टडी करता था और श्वैन किसको स्टडी करता था, एनिमल्स को स्टडी करता था. दोनों ने अलग अलग स्टडी करते हुए क्या ऑब्जर्व किया, उन्होंने एक सेल थ्योरी फॉर्मुलेट करी. ओके, अपनी ऑब्जर्वेशंस को एक काइंड ऑफ थ्योरी में एक्सप्लेन किया, लेकिन दोनों ने अलग अलग वर्क किया. ओके, सो देन दे कंबाइन टू गिव द cell theory. They combine their formulations to form the cell theory. Now what they have concluded in the cell theory, what are the postulates of cell theory? That living organisms, they are composed of cells and product of cells. जितने भी living organisms हैं इस earth पे, they all are made up of cells and even the products of the cells. यानी वो सेल से भी बनते हैं या फिर सेल के प्रोडक्ट से बनते हैं. इज दैट क्लियर? जितने भी लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म है, वेदर दे आर यूनिसेलुलर और मल्टीसेलुलर. सेकेंड, सेल इज द बेसिक फंडामेंटल यूनिट ऑफ लाइफ. बॉडी के अंदर जितने भी फंक्शंस हो रहे हैं, दे टेक्स प्लेस इन दी सेल. तो सेल इज़ द बेसिक यूनिट. ये हमारी बॉडी को एक स्ट्रक्चर प्रोवाइड कर रही है, एक फंक्शन परफॉर्म करा रही है. सो इट इज़ बेसिक फंडामेंटल यूनिट ऑफ लाइफ. नाउ बोथ ऑफ दीज दे हैव गिवन द सेल थ्योरी, बट देन another person came named as Rudolf Virchow. This person, in 1855, he modified the cell theory and added one thing. There was one thing that was the drawback of the cell theory that was proposed by Schleiden and Schwann, that they didn't talk about the procedure, that how the new cells they are formed. They were unable to explain the structure, that how the new cells they are formed. They are unable to explain the mechanism. So to overcome this drawback, Rudolf Virchow, he gave the explanation that how the new cells they are formed. The explanation given by Rudolf Virchow was that new cells, they are always formed by the division of the pre-existing cells. Let's take the example. Suppose this is the cell, okay? It will further divide into two cells, and further these two cells, they will divide into four cells. So this is how the new cells, they are formed. All the new cells you can see, they are formed from the pre-existing cells. And in his terms, he had explained this statement by giving omnis cellula e cellula, which means that all the new cells, they are formed from pre-existing cells. So Rudolf Virchow, he modified the cell theory. So a new cell theory was formulated, a modified cell theory was formulated, that includes all living organisms are composed of cells and product of cells. And second point, all cells, they arises from the pre-existing cells. Okay, so this was the cell theory that was earlier proposed by Schleiden and Schwann, and then later on modified by the Rudolf Virchow. Okay, now we come on to the next topic, that is an overview of a cell. आपने लोअर क्लासेस में डिफरेंट सेल्स के स्ट्रक्चर को ऑब्जर्व किया हुआ है. ओके, यू हैव ऑब्जर्व द प्लांट सेल, यू हैव ऑब्जर्व द एनिमल सेल. आपने अनियन पील सेल्स को ऑब्जर्व किया हुआ है, चीक सेल्स को ऑब्जर्व किया हुआ है. सो देयर आर सम कॉमन स्ट्रक्चर्स विच आर प्रेजेंट इन both plants as well as the animal cells. Now you have already discussed about the difference between the plant and animal cells also, that plant cells, they have cell wall, but animal cells, they don't have cell wall. So if firstly I have to describe the animal cell, it has the outermost boundary called as the plasma membrane. Inside it, the fluid is filled called as the cytoplasm, and on one side there is a nucleus. Okay, nucleus, and this is the typical cell. This is the typical animal cell. Okay, animal cell में क्या है? सेल मेम्ब्रेन है, न्यूक्लियस है, साइटोप्लाज्म है. ओके, इनसाइड सेंटर में बना लो न्यूक्लियस इसमें. ओके, इन सेंटर इट इज न्यूक्लियस. ये जो मैंने डायग्राम बनाया हुआ है, इसी को ही मैंने इलेबोरेट कर दिया. क्लियर? सो दिस इज द टिपिकल स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ एन एनिमल सेल. एंड इफ आई ड्रॉ अ प्लांट सेल, इट हैज अ सेल वॉल, cell membrane. Cell wall was absent here, but it is present in the plant cell. Clear? Now in the plant cell, the cytoplasm, it is present in the corner, and inside it is a big vacuole, and a nucleus, it is present in a corner. Clear? So this is the rough sketch of plant and animal cell. ये आपने लोअर क्लासेस में पढ़ा हुआ है. अब मैंने इन दोनों को कंपाइल कर कर एक टिपिकल सेल का अगर मैं ओवरव्यू दूं तो वो कैसे दिखाई देगा? दिस इज द डायग्राम टू एक्सप्लेन दैट. अ टिपिकल सेल, it consists of the outer cell membrane, and if we are talking about the plant cell, another membrane is being added, that is the cell wall. Now inside the cell membrane, the matrix is present, the semi-fluid matrix is present, this fluid is present, and this semi-fluid, it is called as cytoplasm. This cytoplasm is the site where the cellular activities they takes place. Okay, साइटोप्लाज्म के अंदर बहुत सारी सेल ऑर्गेनेल्स प्रेजेंट होती हैं. ये जो सेल ऑर्गेनेल्स हैं, these are the part of the cells which perform different kind of functions. And what is the function of the cell membrane? The cell membrane, as it is the outermost covering of the cells, So it differentiate the outer environment from the cytoplasm. Now if we focus in the center of the cell, we see here that there is a darkly stained, darkly colored structure called as nucleus. Now nucleus, it is the controlling unit of the cell which control all the activities of the cells which are performed by different organelles. Now this nucleus, it is having one more advantage, that it is having the complex structures called as chromosomes. Okay, these chromosomes, they carry the DNA, or we can say they carry the genetic material which transfer from one living organism to another. So nucleus is the place where the chromosomes are present, and on the chromosomes DNA they are present, which contains the genes which transfer from one generation to the another generation. So this is the structure of the typical cell. Now on the basis of the structure of the cell, or particularly on the basis of the nucleus structure, the cells, they are divided into two categories. One is prokaryotic cell and another one is eukaryotic cells. I am again explaining that on the basis of the structure of nucleus, the cells, they are divided into prokaryotes and the eukaryotes. Now in the prokaryotes, pro means old, karyo word means nucleus, eu means modern, karyo again means nucleus. So prokaryotic means these cells, they have old fashioned nucleus, not well developed nucleus. So why we are calling it as old fashioned or undeveloped nucleus? Because the cells, the prokaryotic cells, they lack the membrane bound nucleus. इनके न्यूक्लियस के बाहर कोई भी membrane present नहीं होती. साथ ही साथ no membrane bound cell organelles, they are present in the prokaryotes. उनकी बॉडी के अंदर, प्रोकैरियोट्स की बॉडी के अंदर कोई भी सेल ऑर्गेनल भी प्रेजेंट नहीं होती विच इज बाउंडेड बाय द मेम्ब्रेन. ओके, एक नॉन मेम्ब्रेन बाउंड ऑर्गेनल प्रेजेंट है जिसको हम बोलते हैं राइबोसोम. वो अभी हम आगे डिटेल में पढ़ेंगे. अब बात आती है यूकैरियोटिक सेल्स की. Eukaryotic cells, as I have discussed with you, they are the modern type of cells because they are having the well developed nucleus. So why can we say that nucleus is now well developed? Because here the cells, they have membrane bound nucleus. इनके nucleus के बाहर two membranes present होती है, inner and outer membrane. Clear? Which protect the inner material of the nucleus. And in the eukaryotic cells, the various membrane bound organelles, they are present. Clear? So that was about the division of the cell based on the structure of nucleus. Okay, so if we talk about cell organelles, I have already discussed with you the parts of cell present in the cytoplasm. So where they are located? They are always located in the cytoplasm and perform different functions. Example of cell organelles are Golgi body, lysosomes, endoplasmic reticulum, lysosomes, ribosomes. They all are the example of cell organelles. Now the first cell organelle we will discuss just to introduce about the difference between the prokaryotic and eukaryotic is that ribosome, it is basically the non-membranous bound structure. नॉन मेम्ब्रेनस ऑर्गेनल, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है आपके नीट के पर्पज से. नीट में ये क्वेश्चन बहुत बार पूछा गया है. नेम द सेल ऑर्गेनल विच इज नॉन मेम्ब्रेनस और विच इज प्रेजेंट इन बोथ प्रोकैरियोटिक एंड यूकैरियोटिक सेल. सो दैट one is only the single, that is ribosome. Ribosome is non-membranous, सबसे पहली चीज़ ये याद रखनी है. Secondly, ribosomes, they are the organelles which are present in both prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Okay. Now ribosomes, they are not only found in the cytoplasm, but they are also found within the different organelles like chloroplast, okay, mitochondria, and on rough endoplasmic reticulum. Now these two, they are very special ones because chloroplast and mitochondria, they also have their own genetic material. Okay, so therefore they are called as semi autonomous organelles. They are also called as semi-autonomous organelles. Okay. And now we all know that ribosomes, they are also present on the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Okay. So that's why they are named as rough. So if we talk about the animal cells, they are having one more non-membranous organelle that is called as centriole. This centriole, it helps in the division of the cell. Okay, when cell it has to grow, it has to divide itself, then this cell division, it occurs with the help of centriole. I hope आपको structure समझ में आया है cell का. Now we come to the next topic, that cells, they differ in size, shape and activities. हम सभी को पता है कि सेल एक जैसे नहीं होते सभी. They are having different sizes, they are having different shapes, they are performing different activities. So let us take a view that the smallest cell is mycoplasma. Okay, largest cell is egg of an ostrich, and longest cell is nerve cell. So by giving these three examples, you may prove your answer that the size of different cells, they differ. Now we come to the shape of the cell. If we observe the different kind of cells under the microscope, we find that the shape of the cells also differ. Now I have taken few of the example of the shapes that